Good morning everyone. My name is Vijay Gupta and you are watching biology classes. So welcome to all of you in this lecture of biology. Students, today I am going to start a new topic, that is human body cavities. So now what is the meaning of body cavities? Actually body cavities are the vacant space of our body inside that different kinds of organs are situated. Suppose that this is our body and all the organs are present inside this body. So these organs are present but inside the hollow spaces of the body, which are known as the body cavities. So it is very important to know about the body cavities before knowing the human physiology. Suppose that we are studying about the digestive system, and we know that different components of digestive system are like liver, pancreas, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So what is the situation of these organs? And suppose that you are studying circulatory system or excretory system, so it is very important to know what is the position of your heart, what is the position of your lungs, your brain, your spleen, your kidneys, etc., etc. So if you know about the different body cavities, then it is very easy to understand the position of that particular organ. So let's start the video about the human body cavities. Our body consists of two layers. This layer is known as, this surface is known as actually ventral surface, while this one is known as the dorsal surface. So on the ventral side, the cavities present which are known as the ventral cavities, while the cavities which are present on the dorsal side are known as the dorsal cavities. So in this lecture, first of all, I will tell you about the ventral cavities. So these are the ventral body cavities. This is the body cavity, and this body cavity is especially divided into two parts. The upper one is the thorax, while the lower one is known as the abdomen. So the thorax portion consists of a cavity that is known as the thoracic cavity. Inside the thoracic cavity, both the lungs and our heart is situated. So this upper cavity of the body is known as the thoracic cavity, and it consists of two lungs and one heart. Below the thoracic cavity, another cavity is present that is known as the abdominal cavity, and a separation of thoracic and abdominal cavity is a muscular diaphragm. So diaphragm is a separation between the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. So this one is the diaphragm, which I made with green color. Below the diaphragm, the abdominal cavity is present, and the abdominal cavity consists of different parts of alimentary canal, our kidneys, etc. So this is the abdominal cavity, and below the abdominal cavity another cavity is present which is not divided by any muscular diaphragm. This cavity is known as the pelvic cavity. Now why it is known as the pelvic cavity? Because our pelvic girdle, the hip bone, is situated in this region, and that particular bone consists of hollow cavity that is known as the pelvic cavity. So below the abdominal cavity, a pelvic cavity is situated, and both the collectively are known as the abdominopelvic cavity. So the term abdominopelvic cavity means abdominal cavity as well as pelvic cavity. So both the cavities are collectively known as the abdominopelvic cavity. So it was about our ventral body cavities. Now we'll talk about the dorsal body cavities. This side of the body is known as the dorsal side. Our dorsal side consists of a cranium. Cranium means the part of the skull that protect the brain is known as the cranium, and inside the cranium a cavity is present, a hollow cavity is present that is known as the cranial cavity. Inside the cranial cavity our brain is situated, and this cranial cavity protects the brain. So this is the cranial cavity which consists of brain, and below the cranial cavity a hollow cavity is present inside our vertebral column or the backbone, which is known as the spinal cavity, and this spinal cavity consists of our spinal cord. So there are two dorsal body cavities. The first one is cranial cavity, which consists of brain, while the next one is the spinal cavity, which is situated inside the vertebral column, inside the hollow space of the different vertebrae. So this is known as the spinal cavity, and it consists of our spinal cord. So these both are the dorsal body cavities. Now in my next diagram I will tell you that our thoracic cavity is further divided into different types of categories which are also known as the different body cavities. So let's have a look. In this diagram, this is the thoracic cavity which I made with green color. So this is the thoracic cavity, and this thoracic cavity consists of another cavity. As I told you before that our thoracic cavity consists of our lungs and our heart. So there are two cavities which are known as the pleural cavity. This one is the right pleural cavity, another one is the left pleural cavity, and both the pleural cavities consist of our lungs. Right lung situated inside the right pleural cavity, while the left lung is situated inside the left pleural cavity. Between both the lungs and between both the pleural cavity, another cavity is present that is known as the pericardial cavity or the pericardium. So this pericardial cavity consists of a very important organ, that is our heart. So between both the lungs our heart is situated, and which is situated inside a cavity, and that cavity is known as the pericardial cavity. So this is the pericardial cavity, consists of heart. These are the pleural cavity, consist of lungs. Now below the thoracic cavity, I show the diaphragm again. So this is the diaphragm, and below the diaphragm, abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity is situated, as I have told you in this diagram. So these are the different body cavities present in our body. So I think all the things are very clear to you. Still, if you want to ask any type of question, any query, then you may ask in the comment section. I will try my best to reply you. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.